Bhaktivedanta Prabhu. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurum-militam yena tasmai Shri-gurave namaha. Namo Vishnu-padaya Krishna-preshthaya bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Nektarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaurabhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is the 23rd verse of the 3rd chapter of 1st canto. एकोनविंशे विंशति में कृष्णेषु प्राप्य जन्मनि रामकृष्ण इति भुवो भगवान् अहरत् धर्म. एकोनविंशे means 19, Vimshati means 20th. This verse explains about Lord Balaram and Lord Krishna's appearance. In the list of the appearances of the Lord, which is mentioned in this chapter, Prabhupada is mentioning Bhagavan word is used. Bhagavan refers to that original personality of Godhead. What does Krishna say about himself coming to this world in Bhagavad Gita? He says in the 4th chapter from 6th to 9th verse, he appears himself. Why does he appear? What does he do? What is his mission? All that is explained. Why Lord Krishna himself? He says, Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavami atma mayaya. So now he is talking about his own appearance. Ajopi san avyayatma. His body is an inexhaustible body. His body never deteriorates. Avyayatma. And that person, he is unborn. He is never born. Ajopi san avyayatma. Bhutanam ishvaropi san. He is the Lord of all the living entities. So many Bhutanam. All of us are Bhutanam. He is Ishvaropi san. Prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavami atmamayaya. He appears in his own self-same form. He manifests in his own form for the purpose of Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamya. These shlokas refers the purpose of incarnations. This yada yada hi dharmasya and the next shloka can be attributed to all Krishna's incarnations. You can remember these. So what does he say in this shloka? He appears in his self-same form. Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita. He himself comes. Prakritim swam adhishtaya. His own transcendental form he appears through his internal potency. Atma Mayaya. He says, Yada yada hi dharmasya, is talking about dharma, religious principles. They are the codes which are mentioned in the Vedic literatures. They are the principles which are mentioned. They are the laws governing the whole existence. So these dharmic religious principles, yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati bharata. When religious principles decline, deteriorate, disappear, almost disappear, then when religious principles disappear, decline, what else is happening? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyutanam adharmasya. At the same time, irreligious principles are increasing. There is a predominant rise in the irreligious principles. It has to happen. There has to be a balance. As is mentioned in Kali Yuga, only 25% people are religious, 75% are irreligious. So that 100% matching has to happen. So religious principles are declining, irreligious principles are rising. Due to the disturbance caused by the demoniac population. Now what does he do? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutana madharmasya tadatmanam srijami. So I have to come personally to solve the situation. Nobody else can do anything. Normal human beings, bhutanam, they cannot handle themselves. What they will solve other problems? How they will solve the demoniac disturbances caused by a lot of demoniac people. So this true religion, when it declines, Lord has to come and take some action, appropriate action. These religious principles are mentioned in the entire Vedas. What are these religious principles up to? They are talking about how all of us should conduct ourselves in this human form of life. They are called code of conduct. Any organization we join, there is a code of conduct. So I was hearing one news article. There is very high attrition rate in the companies recent times because of the hostile work environment. Toxic, they are using the word toxic environment. There are targets, there is huge competition, and all the top notch of any company, they are only trying to squeeze people who are below for achieving targets. In 1980s, 45% of the people were not happy with the work culture, and gradually, as time progressing, people are becoming more and more unhappy with the work culture. More than the salary, people are now looking for a congenial work culture, happy culture, good relationship with their bosses and their lower ones. So everyone is looking for a happy culture everywhere. But somehow, because there is no Krishna consciousness, artificially the toxic culture, work culture cannot be eradicated, cannot be eliminated. It has to happen through change of heart, change of consciousness. As long as people are working hard for their own body, their sense gratification, they cannot change the perspective. Now this is what Vedic principles talk about. Laws, codes, principles, rules and regulations which govern our life. And that is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita and directly explained to a student, Arjuna, who is very advanced in understanding the Vedic principles, religious principles. Just like mathematics subject can be explained to everyone. Small children can be taught about arithmetic calculations, multiplication, subtraction, addition. And higher calculus, trigonometry is explained to advanced students. Similarly, Arjuna is an advanced student who is able to understand those principles of higher mathematics. And the eligibility for being an advanced student is at least the student should be part of the Varna Ashrama system. That is the beginning of civilized life, beginning of religious life, and one can understand what is Dharma. If he or she is not part of the Varnashrama system, it's a barbarian life. Now, starting with Varnashrama system, the highest principle of Dharma, Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Just surrender unto me. So these are called religious principles which make one ultimately surrender to God. And this is what Krishna is talking about. So when these religious principles decline and there is rise of irreligion, people are becoming more and more materially conscious, losing God consciousness, then that is the time when Lord personally appears. So now he appears as many times Avatara. He may be personally coming, or he may send his representative, a son or his servant. Another possibility, he comes in a disguised form. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance is not explicitly mentioned in many Shastras. So when he appears, wherever we go, we see mission statement of any organization, any project, any task undertaken. So Lord also has a mission statement. According to the Avatara, according to the Incarnation, he reveals as much as required to those time, place and circumstances, to those audiences. And then he invokes, he kindles that Krishna consciousness among those people. And his goal is to lead them to finally to Krishna consciousness. And after arousing Krishna consciousness in them, he has to make them subservient, he has to make them obedient to the religious principles, dharmic principles. That is his mission statement, common mission statement of all the avatars. And then Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he talks about avatara. What is this avatara? Meaning of? So he says, avatara, the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, descends from the kingdom of God to the material world to manifest among ourselves so that he is accessible to our gross senses. That is called as material manifestation of the Supreme Lord in the material world. This is the avatara. And then when a particular form appears from the spiritual world in front of us, we say he is so and so avatara. And all these avatars, incarnations, are situated in the spiritual world originally. When they descend from that higher platform to this lower platform, where all of us have no access to spiritual personalities, that is the time we call them as avatars. So there are different kinds of avatars, 6 varieties of avatars. What are they? Purusha avatars, Guna avataras, Yuga avataras, Manvantara avataras, Leela avataras, 6 are all, Shaktya-vesha avatars. These are the different kinds of avatars, and all of them have a particular time schedule, properly scheduled. Which yuga, what time, under what circumstances, which place they are going to appear. Just like exactly we are supposed to do Mangalarti at 5 o'clock. Darshanarti 7:30. Scheduled time, nobody can change. GVCs can change provided they have valid proof from Prabhupada quotes. But Lord, he need not adhere himself to these scheduled timings, date, yugas, which Manvantara he has to appear. Out of his own free will, he can appear anytime. But respecting his own schedule, he appears at that time. So now, there are so many avatars which we have been reading up to 22nd verse. This is little different. This is not an avatar. Balaram and Lord Krishna, they are the original personality of Godhead, Prabhupada is saying, Bhagavan. So Krishna is also referred to as Varshneya. He is Vasudeva. And Balaram is Sankarshana. That original Supreme Lord Krishna, he first expands himself into Balaram, and Balaram expands into the first phalanx or quadruple expansion, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So these first quadruple expansion again expand into Narayana forms. Again Narayana expands into second quadruple expansion, and from the second Sankarshana is also called as Mahasankarshana, second quadruple expansion. From them, Purusha Avataras appear, 3 Purusha Avataras. And the third Purusha Avatara, who is Chirodakshaya Vishnu, along with him Lord Brahma and Shiva, they are called as Guna Avataras. Like that, so many avatars are there. In Bhagavatam it is said, Ete chamsa kala pumsan Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Loke Vrida Yuge Yuge. Millennium after millennium, like the waves of the ocean, which is unlimited. Amsha and Kala. Amsha means plenary expansion. Kala means expansion of the plenary expansion. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So many Amshas, Kalas are appearing, but Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. And from him, all the Amsha and Kala appear like waves of an ocean. How many waves are there in an ocean? Unlimited waves. You cannot count. So they keep appearing either personally or as their representative or in a hidden form. So now this Krishna, he has appeared. He is that original personality of Godhead. He is that same Supreme Lord who is two-handed Krishna with a flute in that same eternal, spiritual, transcendental body, whose body never deteriorates, who appears with the purpose of relieving the anxieties of his unalloyed pure devotees. This incarnation is not to perform any other big task. Side by side, he is killing all the demoniac people. But his main intention is to please the devotees and relieve them from the anxiety, because they are very anxious to see that Supreme Lord in his Vrindavan manifest Leela. That is why they are very anxious. He wants to relieve their anxiety. This is the main purpose of Lord's advent. Another place, Srila Jayadeva Goswami, he has composed Dashavatara Stotra. So this Dashavatara Stotra is different from what we see generally in the internet or movies. That Dashavatara Stotra, there is no Stotra, Dashavataras, what they say, that list includes Krishna also in one of the avatars. That is why people get confused. They say all of them are Vishnu's avatars and Krishna is one of them. Now, interestingly, we can see Srila Jayadeva Goswami is mentioning Rasha avatars. Keshava Dhruta so and so Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare. So, O Keshava, O Supreme Lord, O Lord of the universe, this is referring to Keshava. And 10 incarnations or avatars does not have Krishna as an avatar either. All of them are mentioned as incarnation. You appear as Meena Sharira, Kurma Sharira. Then Shukara Rupa, Narahari Rupa, Bhrugupati Rupa, Haladhara Rupa, Rama Sharira, Kalki Sharira, Buddha Sharira, Vamana Sharira. So there is no Krishna mentioned. So this shows that Lord Krishna is not an incarnation. All the pure devotees are in agreement with that. And Krishna says, this is the secret. We may know Vishnu, we may know Narayana, we may know all Krishna's incarnation. But if we do not know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, still we have not understood the complete secret. So that is why he says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha punarjanma naiti mameti sortuna. So it is such a secret. His appearance, his activities are all transcendental. One who knows that in truth, he again does not have to take birth in this world. Rather, he comes to meet the spiritual. In Brahma Samhita, it is said, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. That one person has got so many forms. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. He has got Ananta Rupa. And he is infallible. Achyutam. There is no beginning. Adyam Purana Purusham. He is the oldest person to be counted in the history. And he is the Adi. Adyam Purana Purusham Nava Yauvanamcha. His body is always ever fresh, ever youthful. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau is only available. This secret is only for this confidential, pure Atma Bhaktau, pure devotees. Even after reading the entire Vedas, Vedeshu Durlabham, it's not possible to even understand that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham. It is him who offers the And in Bhagavatam also it is said, this fact, a devotee has to be convinced that Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Even little doubt we have. Many times, even after joining the temple full time, many devotees will have this doubt. Because they are so much attached to different forms of Krishna. They will not be fully convinced. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. They will say, no, Vishnu is Supreme. That is not wrong. That is what the Prabhupada is explaining now. That is not wrong. It is the same one person, Krishna, who is available as many forms. Eko Devo Nitya Nilanu Rakto Bhakta Vyapi Hridyantaratma. So that one Lord is performing multifarious pastimes in different relationships with his devotee. That one Lord. Krishna is not different from Vishnu. So this fact has to be taken with conviction, and it is very, very difficult to conceive. It is incomprehensible for empiric philosophers. It is incomprehensible for atheistic mentality, people who have atheistic mentality. So with this understanding, if somebody says, Tat Tvam Asi, O Lord, you are the Supreme Brahman, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, instantly the devotee will get liberated. Instant liberation, just Tat Tvam Asi. Many people chant in so many organizations. I don't know whether they know the meaning or not. They are actually telling, Oh Lord, you are the Supreme Brahman, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Instantly liberated. Liberation means completely liberated from Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti. The extreme difficulties, sufferings, pains, what we are undergoing, immediately that person is relieved. He is fully out of the bodily concept. Just by understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. All the pains are mitigated. All the sufferings are mitigated in one shot. There are a lot of millionaires. They have a lot of money. But still they are not there. In India, highest education one can get by going to IIT. Even there, people are committing suicide. Every year, you find we keep hearing somebody committed suicide. Recently, from the 7th floor in IIT Mumbai, one boy fell down and he committed suicide. And he says in a note, I'm suffering with great depression. So, suffering cannot be mitigated by any amount of material happiness, material satisfaction, material prosperity. Even in devotional service, if you want to mitigate all the sufferings, all the pains, it is not possible by material adjustment of the situation. We have to become more Krishna conscious rather than adjusting a situation materially. We do our duty of adjusting the situation, but we should know any adjustment is happening because of the Lord's intervention. So this kind of attitude of a devotee will keep the devotee very busy in Krishna consciousness, and only then the devotee can be happy, really happy, out of bodily concept, not too much materially engrossed. Material consciousness is a disease. Krishna consciousness is a healthy state. So more and more devotee is enthusiastic in doing services. The devotee feels more and more happy. It means more and more the devotee is Krishna conscious. More and more we lack enthusiasm, no utsaha at all. Everything is a burden, and not interested to take up more services. Give excuses for not doing this service and not doing that service. It means lacking enthusiasm. So it means life has become very mechanical. Why life becomes mechanical? Because service, anything we want to learn newly, there is a lot of enthusiasm. Driving a car, we have a lot of enthusiasm initially. We get license, start driving for 2 years, 3 years. Same car, same roads. No enthusiasm. So work becomes more mechanical, more robotic when we lose feelings and we lack quality in that activity. In Krishna consciousness, the quality of service can reach unlimited stage. The sky is the limit. So there was an incident. Yashovati Nandan Prabhu was leading team of devotees in Mumbai, Juhu. So all the devotees there, mostly American or white body devotees. So they wanted to go around in Juhu. They wanted to use taxi. If somebody has gone to Mumbai, it's very costly. So take a local train is more cheaper. But devotees wanted to use taxi. So being a manager or leader, Yashovati Nandan Prabhu used to deny. And then all the devotees used to get agitated. So he went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I am doing my duty. I am telling devotees it's so difficult to get Lakshmi. And I am saying, don't go in the taxi, devotees are all getting agitated. So what did Prabhupada do? Prabhupada said, you see, all those devotees, they were eating meat, flesh. They were drinking blood like tigers earlier. Now, they have left all that. They are taking prasadam. They are attending temple programs. They are dancing. They are so happy. Give them a little bit extra money. Let them go in the taxi. So next day in the class, Prabhupada is now talking to all the devotees. All those who were asking for taxi, they were all there in the class. So Prabhupada is saying, we should never waste money. To get Lakshmi, to get money, is very, very difficult. And money is like blood of Krishna. Should never waste money. So Prabhupada is encouraging them in the class that we should be more cautious, more sensitive in spending Krishna's money. So Prabhupada inspired the manager also, inspired the other general devotees also. So on one hand, Prabhupada is saying, you are the manager, you should tolerate. So Prabhupada is trying to increase the quality of his service. On the other hand, Prabhupada is telling the other devotees, it's fine, you are new, you are getting used to the culture, please be cautious. In our Bangalore ashram, everywhere, at one point of time, they put notice boards because devotees are not concerned about tap water, electricity, everywhere light is on. So even if they see light is on, they don't switch it off. Tap water while we are brushing, continuously water is going from the tap. So we have to conserve water, conserve electricity. And we were all told it's all Krishna's resources. We should never waste them. So water, anything, whatever is there. We should not think, oh, PACNG, wow, who is going to care? PACNG donation will come, it will go. No. Everything is very important. Every unit, every penny is very important. We should be cautious. So this quality of service, quality of our life, quality of our behavior, everything should get enhanced. And that makes the devotee feel more enthusiastic, more connected to Krishna by service, and we feel more, we feel the progressive aspect of Krishna consciousness. So we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.